Hello and welcome to the Nope There's Any Trash Here podcast, episode 11. The date today is the 19th of 5th, 2013, and joining me once again is MrMuckluckable.
Hello.
And also we're doing something a bit different. We're mixing it up, broadening the horizons of the podcast. Anything can happen. We also have a second guest, so there's actually 3 people here. Probably not really a mystery to who that could be. It's my brother, EdwardDaGuy.
Hello.
Yeah, so this is pretty exciting. It's going to be a crazy one. It's going to be crazy.
You're going to have a rave. It's going to be brilliant.
Definitely. Oh, so much excitement and energy. I can feel it. Pumped.
Yeah, 3
so
people.
Pumped. Woo! See, if it was my advice to anyone making a podcast out there, don't do it on a Sunday evening. It's a very lazy time. You're just sitting around, just dreaming a dream. I don't know, just sitting around really. But
yeah,
I was reading comics.
Sure.
Ooh. Good comics.
Well, anyway, before we get into it, Joe, I want to ask you something. How have you been finding your new 3DS?
Well, I've still been playing Mario,
Sure.
3D Land, but I want to use some of the other kind of. You turn it on and it has like 13 different things that are kind of flashing in your face.
Yes.
And I don't really know what they do yet, so I'm kind of trying to look at them. I think some of them are just like the gimmicky cards, like AR cards.
Oh, are you talking about like all the apps that load up when you first have it?
Yeah, like is there like a? It was trying to tell me about Me plazas, and I thought I'd ditched all the little Me's. But I don't know what it is. I'm waiting for some more games to come.
Well, I kind of ignore all that stuff, I'll be honest. I was into it at first, checking it out with the Street Pass and things like that, but after a while it does kind of, you just want to play games.
Yeah.
I used to take my 3DS out with me whenever I went, but now I've just given up because it made my side really warm, so it's not really worth it.
No, it's kind of it's a really cool idea, but it's a very Japanese idea.
The Street Pass?
Yeah.
What is that? I didn't even listen to it.
Well, what you do, you create a little me yourself, and then the whole idea with the 3DS is that you don't turn it off ever, you just put it in sleep mode.
Yeah.
So, when you put it in sleep mode, if you walk past another 3DS, you exchange Miis. So, when you go home, like, a random person's Mii will be in your 3DS, and it'll be like, hey, it's me, and whatever. And then there's like 2 minigames related to it. One which is for puzzle pieces, where when you like find someone else's Mii, you can get one of their puzzle pieces to complete puzzles. And then also this is like quest thing when you send out other people's Mii on quests and things like that.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty in depth for what it is.
Yeah, but like you say, it's not a very. I don't think it works in many other countries. Possibly.
No, I mean I've got some random people's ones from walking around, but then it's not that many. Just
where
walking...
I live, you take it outside, and you probably get mugged.
Yeah.
Well, I think mine's broken because it says I've met like 50 people and I have no idea who they are, and I haven't taken my 3DS outside in weeks, so I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I think that's Nintendo. I think Nintendo flooded everyone's 3DS with random Miis for no reason.
So you don't feel lonely.
Yeah, so like the one guy who's just on an island by himself with the only 3DS. It's like, wait.
Then you don't get anything from them. They're just like standing around in their weird hats.
That's it. That really is it.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out for that then. Yeah.
Well, how have you found like the 3D effect? Because that's the thing that people like either really, they think it's cool, or they're just like,
Well, I kind of knew going into it that the 3D wouldn't work for me because I have a lazy eye, or I don't know what the term is for it, but one of my eyes sucks.
Okay.
And it means that, at the cinema as well, I can't do 3D things very well. So I kind of knew that wasn't going to work. I mean, some of my friends and family are like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, yeah, great. But I just like the actual analog stick. That's so useful. I love it.
Yeah, because they actually designed it in the same way that Microsoft designed the Xbox One, where the stick goes in, so your thumb actually fits into it rather than has to push against it, which I don't get with the DualShock. It's such a weird, you want your thumb to fit in. It's more comfortable.
Stick it in there.
Yeah. I mean, although with the 3DS I do get it, like, hand cramps sometimes when I play it for a long time, because I have to, like, get my hands right in there to hold it and to use the R buttons, but...
Yeah, with Mario, I haven't had that problem yet, because Mario's like a game you play in, I don't know, 20-minute bursts. I can't really sit down and play a Mario game for very long.
Yeah, if you did have a long play session of 3D Land, you would just beat it in that play session, and that would be that.
Yeah, I'm trying to stretch it out.
Yeah, as long as you can.
I mean, the day I got it, I think I got to World 8, and I had a few hours, and I was like, oh, well, this was worth it.
Yeah. The big game of the 3DS.
Yeah.
Killer one, but... Oh, well, with that, let's stop the pointless 3DS rambling, and let's get into topical rambling. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do here, so... Oh, shoot, I didn't set up the gaming news thing. Wait, hold on.
Oh, no.
One second. It's a classic.
Podcast is ruined.
We don't have that many, standard kind of stuff. In fact, this is the only one. So I can't let it die. Wait, where is it? Oh, shoot.
Professional as always.
It's that lazy Sunday, man, I tell you. Right, okay, I found it. Okay, let's do gaming news.
Gaming news.
I like that only I can hear that. I do enjoy that on some level.
Sounded
Awkward
amazing.
silence.
It does make me feel very powerful, I guess. Which I should not be getting power hungry. It's just a nice podcast. Just trying to have a nice time.
It's Sunday.
Yeah, lazy podcast.
Well, I got to go to school tomorrow, and I got to do homework, so it's not that lazy.
School's lame.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to get up at, midday, walk around not dressed. I'll be doing that for the next 4 months.
The student's life, yeah.
Life's so hard. Well, anyway, the big news topic, which is pretty interesting because it's one that actually affects us in a weird sort of way. Well, not you, MrMuckluckable, but me and Ed definitely, where Nintendo have decided to copyright their stuff on YouTube. Anything involving any footage from Nintendo games, they're saying that they're going to copyright it, and what this means for them is they're not going to ask you to take it down. Instead, they're going to make you put adverts on it and then claim the revenue off those adverts. Because they're saying how, it's our game, so we want to claim off it, but we want fans to still, put this footage up of, them playing the games. Now, I had the hardest time deciding how I felt about this, because you really can see both sides, it's, you're taking away money from people who just want to play games, and some people are supported of it, and, they did put in the effort, but then again, it is Nintendo's thing, and they're not taking it down, they're just asking for the money for it, so, I mean, I can't, ultimately, of course, I'm against Nintendo, because that means they could force adverts on my videos, but, it's still kind of it's definitely a, issue that I think has split people in a lot of ways.
Well, I've just heard about it just now, and I think that's an absolutely terrible idea, because, obviously I don't get many views, you get more than me, but people earn their views, not through the footage, like Nintendo's footage, but through their commentary and their gameplay and stuff, so they didn't really earn that money, so I don't think they should take all the money from it.
Well, yeah, I think that's the thing, it's them taking all the money is just laziness, it's not acknowledging them, because the thing that I thought that made me think screw Nintendo in the end is that it's like they would never go up to IGN or a site like that and say, hey, you put up a game review of our game, we're going to now put the adverts on there and claim all the money from that. So I think in a way it does kind of show how little respect people on YouTube have and will probably never have.
I mean, at the beginning, like you, I was kind of, I can see why they're doing it, but it's not fair. And I've been reading more opinions and things like that, and yeah, it's a sucky move on their part, really, because it's not even as if they're going to make much from doing this in terms of the tiny amount of money you get from YouTube adverts.
Well, I think they will make, if they did it for all Nintendo videos with the millions of views they get, I think they will actually make quite a lot of money. Like, if people
Really?
can live off it, then I'm assuming, say there's like 100 people living off it, say, if Nintendo then claimed all that money, then that's quite a lot of money.
Yeah, but they're a billion-dollar company. They can't be making more than what, like $1 million maybe? Anyway, I don't know numbers, but still, it just seems like they don't understand the repercussions of what they're doing. It's like, oh, we can get money from YouTube. Okay, then let's do it. And they haven't really thought in advance about, maybe people won't like this.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, and it does kind of show a lack of understanding of what Let's Playing kind of is and all that kind of stuff, because I think that's where the split is. You either are in that world or watch them and understand it, and you're like, no, they're actually their own kind of creative thing in a way. Or you have no concept of it, you never watch them, and you kind of think everyone who does it is a loser, so you're like, yeah, they don't deserve money for doing that. So, obviously, as someone who's in the world, I know that really this isn't the right way to go about it, and I mean, well, the thing is that this is what has been said, but I have not had any action taken against me at all. And I must have like 400 videos with Nintendo stuff in it, so maybe they're just saying this, but I haven't seen any, action after this statement was released.
Yeah, nor have I, but then I don't really monetize my videos, so it probably wouldn't affect me. But I think they're just kind of being greedy, because they probably make quite a bit of money off YouTube anyway, because there's been plenty of times where I've seen someone play a game that I haven't heard of or didn't know was coming out soon, and then I would go and buy that game. So surely they're already making quite a bit of money, all the people that go and do that, because in a way they're advertising their game without them having to pay them, but then they're expecting you or them to take your money for advertising them. So I don't really agree with it at all.
No, it's definitely lack of understanding from the company of what this is, because if it's not a direct revenue stream, I don't think these large companies can kind of comprehend the idea of advertising through, someone making money off your stuff, but also advertising it at the same time.
And what's kind of really obvious from this whole thing with Nintendo and Let's Plays is that it shows how fast technology is ahead of like legal stuff. Because where do Let's Plays stand in terms of legality?
Well, this is it's a vague issue, but Let's Plays always plead fair use, the Copyright Act of like 1979 or whatever it is, that's saying that it's fair enough to use someone else's stuff in this kind of way. But of course, there's no recent laws. There's no laws that kind of that you can really stand by. This is just kind of the old, outdated stuff. So it kind of means pretty much the companies have all the power, because you are technically using stuff that they have copyrighted. So legally, the companies can do whatever they want. They can take down all the videos overnight if they don't want them up. So really, you can't have to give it credit to these companies for not doing that, because they can if they wanted to. But then again, we need some new laws pretty much. But then again, that's a terrifying idea, because the politicians probably don't know what this is all about. If
they're all old men.
Yeah, they're just they don't know. They're just old and senile, I guess. I don't think they've ever been on YouTube. I can't even imagine that idea. But so it's pretty much, I think this is just, there's going to reach a boiling point at some point down the road, and this is kind of like one of the first steps towards that boiling point.
I mean, I think when you buy the game, it gives you the right to play it, so I don't see why it doesn't give you the right to let other people watch you play it. So, like, taking them off YouTube is kind of like not allowing your friends to watch you when you're sitting there, so it's kind of like something that you can't, I don't think they're ever going to stop doing, because it is quite big, and like I said, they probably do make quite a lot of money from it.
Well, that's the thing, it's the money. It's not that people are doing this, it's people are doing it and making money, paying their bills, sustaining a house with the money they get from it. So, I mean, I don't know, Joe, like, how would you feel though, Joe? Because I don't know if pride yourself would be the right word, but you definitely have a no ad policy on any of your videos.
There's I think there's one I had to get to be part
oh,
but yeah.
Sell out, or
but Yeah, I don't do adverts just because I don't want to. It doesn't actually even work like this, but if you don't have adverts, there's a less chance of you being taken down for copyright stuff. I mean, you still can, but I think there's less chance if you don't have adverts. And I just don't want to have. I just want to have the worry of like every time I put up a video, is it going to get like content ID matched?
Yeah, because that's the thing. As a YouTuber, or someone making videos, it's really vague. It's incredibly vague. Sometimes it might come up that a company is like, hey, this was in, you're using footage from one of our games. Like, it'd be like Ubisoft copyright content ID or whatever, however it's phrased. And then you just kind of have to acknowledge it, and that's the end of it. But then again, you can upload the next part of the exact same game and not have that come up. So, I mean,
exactly.
I think that's a problem, that it's really vague anyway. So with these companies saying stuff like that or like this, I don't know if that's going to filter down anytime soon.
If they're gonna do this, and if other companies are going to start doing this as well, like taking people's videos, then the content ID matching has to be better, because, like you say, it's so random. For one of the Destroy Humans videos I did a couple of weeks ago, it was content ID'd by this company, and I have no idea who they are. But apparently it was some French thing, some French gaming channel. It wasn't even a company, it was another channel. And anyone on YouTube, apart from perhaps people with IGN or Machinima or whatever, they're in a position where they have to acknowledge it, because they don't have any power. No power at all. And they say,
unless
if
you
do
go
it
get a
wrong,
lawyer, but that's all you can do.
and they say if you dispute this and you're wrong, then you're going to get a strike. So it's basically just bullying people into saying, accept it.
Well, I got a really embarrassing content ID. I did a video, or me and Prone Mario did a Paper Mario Sticker Star review, but I actually edited the review myself, it just used footage from the game, and that was it. Nothing special to it. But I got a content ID from Nintendo of Peru saying that I was using footage that they owned. So I just edited out that one clip I used, replaced it with the exact same clip just a little later down the line, and the content ID went away. So if I can get around the system that easily, it's not a good system.
It's awful.
Yeah, screw you, Peru. Anyway, what you got? What you got against me? Just trying to make videos here.
I got a copyright acknowledgement in the Simpsons game. I think it was like, I don't know, it was a few parts in. Like, it was for one of Homer's songs or something. And there've been plenty of songs playing in the cutscenes before that we're not talking of or anything. But for some reason, that one song was acknowledged, and they didn't even do anything. It just said, okay, you've got this here, that's it. And it's like, well, why are you telling me this if you're not going to do anything about it and it's not bad? What's the point in telling me? And why this song on this part when there's been plenty of other songs in other parts?
Well, we all have Let's Plays of The Simpsons game, funnily enough.
Yeah.
So, Joe, have you had any problems?
Yes, I think we've all had copyright strikes or ID matches. All of us.
Yeah,
because I have. That's your first message to me was about that, actually.
It was. Left a comment because I was not happy, because what happened is that you guys got the content ID, boo-hoo, I feel so sorry for you. But I actually got a strike on my account, which, if you go back and look at my videos, you'll see that I used to upload like over 15 minutes one for a while, quite early on, and I did like 40-minute Mario Golf videos for some reason, and then it just stopped. And then for like 6 months, I think might have been more like 8, every video had to be under 15, I think 30, I think it was 15.5 minutes, because I had that copyright strike, and there's no way to go against it, because YouTube will just ignore you, or that's what happened with me, and then I just had to wait until YouTube decided, because every once in a while, they reset everyone's copyright strikes. Like, they just, after, about once a year or so, they just reset everyone's, from that's what nice. I could tell. So, yeah, there's just no power here, but then again, the companies aren't really using their power that wisely, so I don't know how annoyed I can get with this initial news of Nintendo doing this.
The worst bit about it, though, in my opinion, is, well, it's all bad, but one of the nails in the coffin of this is they're doing it retroactively. They're doing it to videos like done years ago, that boggles my mind. That should not be allowed.
Well, that's the idea, though, but I can't confirm that they are actually doing it, though. They said they're going to do it, but from what I can tell, they're only doing it for recent games.
Okay.
That might be like part of their, the way they're doing it, where they're starting with the recent games and going backwards. But I think there's a very good chance that if you've got an old video uploaded and it's off an older Nintendo game, nothing that came out in the last year, then you're probably safe, I want to say. Don't quote me on that if you get a copyright strike. But I haven't had any. I haven't seen anyone, have to deal with this, or any YouTubers complaining about, direct contact with Nintendo or whatever. But I think we're safe, but it's going to come down to the newer Nintendo games, whether they actually enforce this properly or not.
Oh, if I get a strike on Super Mario 64, it's your fault, Tom.
Yeah, it is, and I'll stand by that. It'd be funny if you got a strike for your one and I didn't get a strike for my DS one. That's what I'm hoping.
That would suck.
That would be hilarious, and I definitely wish it upon you, I'm afraid. That's how it has to be.
Thanks, you're so kind.
Damn straight. Well, anyway, we could probably talk about this all day, so it has been 20 minutes, so I think we should move on to the next bit of news, which is kind of a bundle of news. Once again, Nintendo did another Nintendo Direct, and, I watched it. This one was a bit disappointing. It wasn't that great. It focused on the Wii U and what's coming out in the spring and summer of Wii U, so pretty much everything coming up until the end of August, although they didn't mention Rayman Legends or Splinter Cell, so probably until the end of July. And there was two kind of bits of news to take away from this. The biggest one was about Sonic, where they announced that Nintendo and Sega have entered this big publishing deal where they're going to produce or work closely with Sega to make the next 3 Sonic games or whatever. I'm not too sure. It's kind of odd, because so pretty much they announced Sonic Lost World, which is going to be an exclusive for the Wii U and the 3DS coming this fall, maybe, I'm not sure. Because here's my problem with this. I had to do a lot of research online to find the concrete details, because in the Nintendo Direct he literally just says they entered a deal, Sonic Lost World, Wii U 3DS, and that's it. That's literally all the information he gives. But then there was a load of other information released, which implies that there's actually 3 games, with the second one being Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games, a new one for the Wii U, and that there's going to be another Sonic game after that. And then I read that actually only Sega of Europe isn't publishing the new Sonic game, so Nintendo is publishing it in Europe, but Sega of the US is publishing the US one. So it's a pretty confusing mess what this news means, but really the main thing to take away from it is that Sonic Lost World has been announced and it's only coming to Nintendo consoles. So, I mean, is this a good move for Sega?
For me it is, because I usually only have the Nintendo console anyway, but I don't know, I don't think people will be... I don't know, I don't think they'll lose a lot of money from it, because, I don't know, I think Sonic games are most popular on Nintendo consoles. I don't know if I'm right about that, I'm just assuming. But I think they will lose a bit of money from it, but not like a huge amount.
Well, the thing is, because from what I can tell from the sales figures, they don't have that much success on Nintendo consoles. Sonic Generations did well, and Sonic Colors did well, so they were just 2 Sonic games that did well on either or on all the consoles. So I don't know if this is like a smart move, but it's definitely an interesting one that Nintendo, Sonic is coming to just Nintendo consoles.
Yeah, it's definitely good for Nintendo.
So, I mean, what about you, Joe? Do you care about the Sonic franchise?
Are the Mario and Sonic Olympic games that popular to warrant another one? That's all I'm wondering. Are
yes,
they really?
They are. Yeah, they sell... I can get the figures for you, but they sell in millions of copies, and they only come out on the Wii. I think the last one sold at least 5 million copies, I want to say.
Yeah, they're family games on a family console, so...
Well, I guess that's kind of it. I guess that's what Sega's thinking was, that if one of the games is Mario and Sonic, and everyone's going to buy Mario and Sonic games, then maybe the mainstream Sonic games would benefit being just on Nintendo to keep it consistent with that.
Yeah.
But it's just definitely interesting that Nintendo, for the first time, is having a direct effect on the Sonic series, because it's, because of the whole rivalry, which obviously they're over, but, Nintendo could be creeping in on the Sonic franchise more and more in the future.
Well, I just hope this means that there'll be more Sonic characters on the next Super Smash Bros. Because I really love Sonic on Brawl.
Yeah, I mean, I can, Tails and Knuckles, Eggman, I'm sure they'll be on there.
Mhm.
But, about the actual game itself, though, there's no details about it. There was one screenshot released. Obviously, I can't... you can only get so much from one screenshot, but from what it looks like, it's Sonic and Tails flying into, like, this big hexagon world that hasn't been fully formed yet. And pretty much it just reminded me of the Sonic Unleashed title screen, or the level select, where the whole world was split, so you spun the world to select your levels. So, I mean, the only thing you can really get from that is that I'm assuming this isn't going to be Sonic Adventure 3 or anything like it, and that they're sticking with the style of Sonic Colors and Sonic Unleashed, where you have this big level select, but because you have the level select, that means you can have like all the different range of zones, like the snow one, the grass one, the desert one, and things like that. But again, that's not really big news, but that's what I got from the screenshot.
Well,
Yeah.
go ahead. No, all right. I can deduce that from the picture,
Okay.
Sonic World is going to have a world in it.
Whoa!
Oh my god.
I didn't even... I mean, they said it was lost, but they obviously found it. I mean, the title is a bit deceiving, I would have to say.
Yeah, it's right there.
I mean, how much oxygen is up there? I mean, they look pretty high up, like way above the clouds. So.
Well, this is a magical lost world. It's, anything could happen. Maybe...
Reminds me of Super Mario Galaxy, when there's like
Yeah.
the black hole in the middle, and you just like fall through the world.
But the reason why I say I think it's the level select is because in the picture it's Sonic and Tails on the plane, so if that was some sort of level like Super Mario Galaxy, Sonic wouldn't be on the plane unless the whole game's going to take place on the plane, and that would really suck.
I think it's unlikely, but I would like sort of like a hybrid of like Sonic with Super Mario Galaxy, where it's like Sonic but mixed with gravity. I don't know whether that would work.
That's what Sonic Colors pretty much was, or that's
Really?
what people said Sonic Colors was like Super Mario Galaxy, because it took place in space, and then you had the space levels, and it was all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but there wasn't really that much of gravity in that game, like there is in Galaxy.
Yeah,
So
but
I
then
think,
they were just ripping off Super Mario Galaxy. They can't do any more
Yeah,
than
but I
they
mean-
did in Colors.
Nintendo can't really complain about it. It's only been on their consoles, isn't it? So
Yeah,
it's
but that
possible.
doesn't mean you can rip off their game completely. They can't. I don't think it kind of works like that.
Well, maybe I'm just evil. I don't know.
Probably, but... Well, either way, it's coming out on the 3DS as well, which does imply some sort of Sonic Colors style game, because Sonic Colors was on the Wii and the DS at the same time, so we'll probably see something like Sonic Generations, but it being an original game and being like Sonic Colors, so either way, it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
Well, I'm being suspiciously quiet on this because I'll be honest, I don't like Sonic.
Oh, no.
Oh dear.
Oh.
I've never played. I never liked Sonic.
Oh.
Like
Oh dear.
when I was younger, I always just played the Mario games. I didn't have a Mega Drive or anything, so I'm in no position to speak about this really.
Just terrible. Just really
Kick me
bad.
out of the call right now. I know you want to.
Bye.
It's cool. It's cool. But yeah, because over here, that's kind of odd, because I played the Mega Drive and not the Super Nintendo. Because, in case you don't know, the American listeners, the Mega Drive was the Genesis, and over here the Mega Drive sold more than the Super SNES did. So the Mega Drive was the console to have. You got to be playing use of Sonic 2.
I
That's
did
what I would
like
say.
Streets of Rage actually. A friend had a Mega Drive, and Streets of Rage was pretty good.
That is a solid title right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Mega Drive was the cool one to have, and the SNES was like the, Mario. Oh.
I have to admit, this is pretty embarrassing, but I, on the Sonic the Hedgehog first game, I never got past the first boss. So,
well.
never really got very far in that game.
That's more than I did, so well done.
It's a good effort, I guess.
Achievements.
But no, well, Joe, with your 3DS, you got to get into the Sonic now. I'm afraid you're in.
I've got to, haven't I?
You got
You
the
have to.
exclusive console to be playing Sonic, so
Exclusivity, yeah.
yeah, you can laugh at the PS Vita kids and for lots of different
Wherever
reasons.
they are, yeah.
Those two people. Oh dear, but well, anyway, let's go on to the other bit of news. It's a bit, it's a smaller bit of news, but it's about New Super Luigi U. Yeah, they announced that it's the DLC for New Super Mario Bros. U, and it's pretty much the whole game recreated and swapped around, a bit like a Master Quest, and you can't play as Mario, you can play as Nabbit, but that's just technical stuff. But it's pretty interesting because they're actually releasing it as a separate disc. They're releasing it first in June on the eShop, and then during July they're releasing it as a separate disc, as its own kind of game. So, I mean, it's kind of curious that Nintendo is already taking this direction with its DLC, but I mean, do those games ever do that well when they come to the disc?
I don't know. Is it supposed to be like Year of the Luigi or something? So they're bringing out loads of Luigi stuff.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not really DLC if it's got its own disc, or is that like an installation disc or something?
No. You can play because it's like a whole reimagining of the whole game. It's the whole game, but it's the reimagined version of it. So if you don't have New Super Mario Bros. U, you can just play New Super Luigi U, because you can't obviously you can't just download the DLC for it. You have to have the whole game because it tweaks the whole game. So this is just an easy version to pick up and buy, rather than having the DLC and having New Super Mario Bros. U.
Does it say the price of it?
They haven't revealed that, but you would hope that it's a cheap one, right?
Yeah.
You would hope. But I mean, of course, it's early days for Nintendo with this kind of stuff, so don't know.
Seems like this is going to be its own game. Like, it's not really going to be a DLC, but it's just going to be a completely different game. Well, not completely different, but it's like its own game.
It sounds like a Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. Like, it's on its separate disc, but it's its own game, but it's kind of a DLC thing.
Well, I think that's the best way to think of it. It is pretty much that. It's the game, but reimagined, so release it on a disc and away you go. But I mean, with Nintendo Mario games, that's all they do anyway. Just reimagine it and re-release it. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here come the dislikes.
Super Mario Galaxy 2, they just rearranged the levels. Yeah.
I did Yoshi, yeah.
Yeah, what the heck? So, satire there, but, hilarious satire aside. It's pretty cool that they're actually doing this, and I sold my copy of New Super Mario Bros. U, so I might actually be buying this at a, if it's a discounted price, then I will probably pick it up.
Get it second hand somewhere.
Well, if it's discounted, I'll just pick it up, sorry.
You're not that cheap.
No, unfortunately not. Well, anyway, let's get on to the last topic. It's another Nintendo thing, but it's also an EA thing, where on my sheet I just put an EA versus Nintendo, because pretty much two bits of news have come out. The first one is that EA are making no games for the Wii U at the moment. 0 games are in development. They're not making anything for the console. They're just like, they're not saying they're never going to. Just at this point in time, none are in development.
That's a real shame.
Yeah, and also at the same time, some guy, a senior engineer at EA, tweeted that the Wii U is crap, and then tweeted a ton of stuff saying how awful it is, and how nobody likes it, and it's just terrible, and Nintendo should, did bad, and they should feel bad. So,
wait, who said this?
A senior engineer at EA.
Well, they're a terrible company, so they can shut up.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the thing. I guess it's kind of interesting because they're saying, or that guy said a lot of what people are thinking, or people, Sony people or Microsoft people. But then again, everyone hates EA, so it's kind of like, I don't know what those kind of people who hate Nintendo and hate EA are doing right now. They must be like, it must be a nightmare.
They don't know who to turn to.
Yeah, it's like, well, this guy's making a lot of good points, but then SimCity was not good, so what am I meant to be doing here?
It's like, you think we're bad, take a look at this. No, man, this is terrible. We're not bad at all.
Well, I mean, I personally don't get on the hate EA train. I think it's definitely exaggerated, and I think they're just people like an easy kind of target, and large companies are always easy targets, so I don't kind of get it, but it's definitely disheartening that there are no games in development. Before we go, properly into the tweets, it's disheartening that there's no games in development, because what that means is that the biggest one is that there's no FIFA. So FIFA over here in the UK is the biggest game every year. It's gotta get your Call of Duty, gotta get your FIFA if you're a man's man.
I mean, my Facebook feed is full of like, oh, just got this, oh, just done this in this league, blah blah blah, FIFA. I don't like FIFA. I don't like it.
Well, I think it's okay. I'm just not going to buy it I'm not going to buy a game I think is okay every year just for the updated names. But it's pretty bad because FIFA 13 came out on the Wii U, and they re-released Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U, and EA also, they did something else, but they released another game as well. So EA supported Nintendo and the Wii U a lot at launch. They had their games out there, but apparently Nintendo and EA signed a deal that said that EA would support them at launch, but then of course they had no obligations afterwards. So as soon as they didn't have to support the Wii U, they instantly dropped all their support. But it's a big company, and as a Wii U owner, sure, maybe I'm not into that many EA games, but it does mean that there's no new Mass Effect, and I guess this also means that there's no Star Wars games.
What?
Oh, no.
If they're publishing Star Wars games, that means that they're not going to come out on the Wii U.
Oh, that's upsetting.
It's not great.
So when I'm rolling in Battlefront 3, you'll be there, just kind of
Playing Sonic Lost World and be like, yeah! Get everyone round for Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games, just skiing, just way. Who needs Star Wars? Just pretend the skiing's on half and it is the same.
And you can cry into a pillow.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe I should do some more research because there's a chance. And here's what I'm hoping, that EA meant that just their development studios aren't doing it rather than their second-party companies. Like DICE and BioWare. Because I'm really hoping that's the case, but there's a good chance it's not the case.
It would be disappointing if the new Star Wars game wasn't on Wii U.
Yeah, that would kind of suck, but so, but also about these tweets. I mean, obviously I disagree with him, so he should get fired because that's how I feel.
Don't beat around the bush.
That's what I want to say. That's my opinion.
Screw it.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I kind of agreed with the other guy, and I didn't want him to get fired. And now I do have to be the better man here and be like, yeah, I love the Wii U, but this guy obviously has the right to say it, and it is fine. But, I mean, this is kind of a different situation, though. I think the problem with the last guy, the Microsoft guy, is because he potentially revealed secrets, or whatever, company secrets, or something stupid like that. But this guy is just slagging off a console the company isn't even supporting. So, obviously, this guy in the long run is going to, be completely fine.
Bob Summerville.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Him.
That's the chap.
Should we quote what he actually says?
You can do, but they're definitely more aggressive than what the Microsoft guy said. But yeah. I don't have them in front of me, so.
He says, the Wii U is crap.
Oh.
Less powerful than Xbox 360, poor online store, weird tablet. Nintendo are Walking Dead at this point.
That's a good show. I love The Walking Dead, so.
It all makes sense. It all comes together, but. Is there any more worth reading that are different? Because I mean, they're all along the same lines of we're not a fan of this console or I don't like it.
That's all I got. Oh no, there's some more, isn't there? Nintendo was still operating like it's 1990.
True.
They should have done a Sega and offered Mario Zelda as PS4 Durango exclusives.
See, that's the thing that doesn't make Durango is the code name of the new Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Although it's now like Infinity, but see, that's the thing that really annoys me. How can a rational human being possibly say that Nintendo should make Mario and Zelda games for Sony and Microsoft? Like, what a stupid... That's so, like... Oh, I want the game on my console, so it should come on my console. That's so, like, such a... Like, I can't imagine anyone having that opinion.
Well, I mean, I have to admit, I would love Ratchet and Clank to be on the Wii consoles, but I mean, Zelda and Mario are like Nintendo's main thing. They're just gonna like give them up.
And it's also stupid that they quoted "do a Sega" because Sega are not doing well, and they just ever since the Mega Drive they've been going downhill, quite rapidly. So it's kind of stupid that he would use that as his example.
I just hope Nintendo have something up their sleeve to like basically say like screw you and like get really good well-selling game or something. Just laugh in their face. That would be funny.
Well, Game & Wario, it's coming out.
Yeah.
Next month. The people are talking. Gonna see it. But no, but I don't know. It seems weird that Nintendo had a rough couple of months with it because the launch was strong and then there was like no games. But I mean, are people not looking at the launch schedule for the Wii U this year? There's a lot coming out and a lot on the way. It's just, you know, the Wii U had no games in the same period where the Xbox and PS3 had tons of games. So it kind of, people then got this weird perception that it's never going to have any good games and that it's a terrible console and it's not worth playing. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just being a fanboy or being ignorant. But I think that this is going to change once we hit Christmas when you know, all the big Nintendo games do come out.
It's kind of like the 3DS when all those Mario games come out. I mean, they're still coming out now, and I've heard that the sales have gone way up. So I think that the Wii U will have its time. It's just not now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I guess I am a fanboy, but you got to have faith in the Nintendo. They always deliver in the end. Like eventually they do. You know, with like the 3DS, it's like, sure, it was just Super, you know, Street Fighter 4 at first, and
Zelda.
Well, at first there was no Zelda, there was Still Diver, and now you can get tons of games, and you know, I've been hearing that MrMuckluckable gave it a rave review on a certain podcast, so that's got to boost sales right there.
Yeah. Yep.
You said,
can I just go on a small tangent?
Okay.
Is there an explanation for why it's called the Wii U?
It's about you.
Is that the reason?
Yeah, that's what they said at E3, and I was like, oh dear.
Well, the company, that's what they said, that's the reasoning, but the actual reason, I would guess, is brand recognition, that 100 million Wii consoles sold, which was like more than the GameCube and N64 combined. So they were like, well, let's not leave this name behind just yet. Let's just slap on the U, you know, put this tablet on there, and then people will buy it based on the, you know, it's a new Wii, but it's got tons more stuff, so it's a lot better than the Wii. We'll buy it. And then, of course, that completely backfired when nobody knows what the bloody thing is, because nobody knows what the bloody thing is.
I mean, I don't know how they didn't see that coming. That seems like a massive oversight. That's the only thing that makes me kind of agree with this guy, this Bob. It's like, don't market it like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, most people just think it's a tablet you can buy for your Wii.
Yeah.
So you can play your Wii games on the go, and it's got, it didn't make any sense.
Where did the name Wii come from anyway? 'Cause, I mean, Nintendo Entertainment Console, well, that's obvious.
It used to be called, it
was a Revolution.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they decided that they were going for the more casual market, so I guess the idea was that it's a short, kind of recognisable sound, maybe. I guess that's it. It's like, it's Wii, you know, go get Wii, you gotta have it.
Well, if I was in control, I'd call it Motion Box, just so everyone know what it's about when it's a box. So, kind of a sequel to the GameCube, I guess. Motion Box.
Yeah, I guess they should have called the Wii the GameCube U. But then I guess if they're going to do that, they should have called the GameCube the N64 U. So really, what the Wii U should have been called is the NES U. If we're going to be honest here. That's how you got to name your console. At the end of the day, but either way, I think that's enough of this. Pretty much, you know, this guy tweeted this stuff. It's his right to tweet it, but it's kind of, for me, it's kind of embarrassing that somebody that high up in a gaming company and a big one can have such one-sided, semi-informed opinions on this kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely very biased. I mean, yeah, I think that's the most disappointing part. Because what if someone came up to him and was like, oh yeah, by the way, we're totally making a game for the Wii U. What is he just going to be like, no, I'm going to quit. Work for Insomniac or something. No, it's not going to happen. So
just going to back away into the corner and feel very bad about himself.
Yeah, like, he can have the opinion, but I think the way he came across, it was more childish than, you know, having a, you know, expressing himself.
Did we ever say, like, the position he was actually in?
Yes, senior engineer.
Senior engineer. Okay, that is quite a big role. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even a low-time guy. He's up there and he's actually getting stuff done. He probably dictated a lot of stuff on certain big games. So.
But I don't like him.
No, but in the way, I don't know. I think the ramifications of all this, you know, nothing's going to happen to this guy really, and then, you know, maybe one day EA will start making games for the Wii U, but it probably won't be for a good while, so kind of disappointing. But oh well, what are you going to do?
Fire him.
Yeah, definitely. Burn him at the
Sorted.
stake. Do it this old-fashioned style. How dare he?
That would deal with him.
That'll sort him out. But anyway, so that's it for gaming news. Not much kind of really happened because this is actually going up on Monday. This is going up a day early.
Oh.
Because I should probably explain to the people out there is that there's going to be another podcast on the Thursday because, of course, today on Monday there's a new Batman trailer coming out. This is kind of getting quite confusing because this is actually Sunday, but it's coming out tomorrow, and then there's other days after Monday. So, and then on Tuesday, which is tomorrow or 2 days for us, it is getting really confusing. It's the big Microsoft reveal. So this is the regular podcast, but also me and my brother are going on holiday on Friday, so there won't be a podcast next week. So instead, I'm going to make one on Thursday, which. Joe, you might be there. You know, we haven't quite sorted that out, but either way, you know, I'm sure you'll express yourself in some way on one of the future podcasts. But yeah, so this week there's going to be 2 podcasts because of the big news, and then there won't be one, and then there'll be one the following week. So that's just to let anyone know why the schedule is quite hectic at the moment.
Shall we? Let's make ourselves more topical, right? We've just seen the Batman thing. Yeah, that Batman thing looked really cool, didn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
there was
great.
a lot of things I liked about it, but I'm not too sure how they handled. And then I'll just say the Joker, Two-Face, Penguin. I'll just edit in the right one. Oh man, I can't believe they went for the look of Batman from the original series, the films.
You haven't said Deathstroke. There's been a teaser trailer with him.
Yeah, but then I can't edit that. Oh man, I can't believe the first boss is Deathstroke, the Joker. I've already said those, so I can just put this all together. And then I'll just make it so you guys get it all wrong.
I can't believe they chose some kind of weird robot Alfred as a boss.
That is crazy,
That is
man.
a genius move.
It's just, you know, who knew that? Who made that's crazy.
I like the look of this game.
I might purchase it on day 1, day 2, day 3, sometime in the future. Never. So I think we're covered, guys. I think we've got that
Yeah, we're
sorted.
good.
That's forward planning for you.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the teaser trailer anyway, so I guess there's that. Where it's just some Batman fighting, I think Deathstroke maybe.
Yep.
And that's it, and you barely see it, and so...
Pretty cool trailer though.
Yeah, I guess. I
Well,
suppose.
not trailer.
It's not the full thing, though, but...
He's got Batman in it, so obviously it's awesome.
Sure. Right, so let's get on to what games are coming out this week. They're all coming out on May the 24th. So actually, I'm doing a podcast before then, so this is... Whatever. So the main one is Resident Evil Revelations, which is a HD port of the 3DS game that came out last year in February, I believe. And it's coming on the Wii U, 360, PS3 and PC. Now, I don't think you guys kind of care about it, but I've got that on pre-order. That's coming to my house. That's where that's going. I can't wait for that game. It's like my most excited game of the year, that.
I'm not a big Resident Evil fan.
Oh.
I played the demo on 3DS and I was like, no, I don't like this.
Oh.
Oh, well.
Yeah, but I'm really excited about it, but I guess that's about it for me. I mean, I could have just got it on 3DS, but HD and gamepad, it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Everything else isn't great anyway. So yeah, so there's that, which I can't wait to play. Well, this is the game of the week right here. This is what you're going to want. This is what's going to take up your time for the next years. It's Fast and Furious Showdown.
Yes!
So nice to go along with the film. So
Can't wait for that game.
It's going to be sick, I would say.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but of course it's just going to be a cheap film tie-in to the sick film that's coming out. And
Well,
so...
you don't know. It could be another
No,
Spider-Man 2.
I do know.
It's not going to be another Spider-Man 2.
Let's hope it. Let's hope it is, but I probably won't find out if it is ever. But
Ever.
nah, whatever. So there's that. That's coming out on HD consoles, whatever. Not, I think I don't really care. And then we got Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. So I was gonna get this, and then I just bought the Wii version a week early. So now I'm not going to get it. So, I mean, MrMuckluckable, you have the option. I know last week this week you must be playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. So, as soon as you're finished with that, you can go out and get Donkey Kong.
Yeah, actually, no, I do like Donkey Kong Country, so yeah, that is an option.
I mean, did you play the Wii original?
I played the Super Nintendo original, but no, not the Wii one.
Well, from what I can see, it's got pretty decent reviews. Although it's odd because it's got worse reviews than the original. But because that's the thing with reviews, when it comes to reviewing ports and remakes, it's they're always lesser. It's like they get weird reviews, like it got less of a score, so that must mean it's worse, right? When it's like, no, this game is in full 3D. There's an extra world and there's a whole new mode to make the game more accessible. So really, it's a better version. If you want to go for either of the versions, you go for this one. Although, with this one, in the original game, it ran at 60 frames per second, but this one can only run at 30, because it's on the 3DS, so...
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't played the original, you won't probably even notice it, but... Either way, it looks like they did a good job porting it over, and they added a whole new world, so that's pretty cool, I guess.
Good.
I mean, I won't be getting it because I played the Wii version with you a few days ago, and that game is hard.
It's really hard.
Oh no, don't say that.
It's so hard.
I'm not a fan of really hard games. I mean, I like a challenge. Like, I'm not worse or anything. But that game was just hard. I don't think I'd pay a lot of money for it.
Did the first world, and that boss is really hard.
Yeah,
really
I didn't do anything. Tom don't know.
I did, and I'll do it again in 3D.
Oh, I like games that are easy.
Well, there is a new easy mode.
Okay.
Which, because in the original you have 2 health, 2 hearts. So in this one it's 3 hearts, and there's just a few tweaks to make it a bit more easier. But
oh, good. Okay.
But
I'm
yeah.
safe.
Yeah, so you can still play if you want it, So then the last one is one that I don't really care about. It's Sniper Elite V2, which came out last year, but the Wii version, or Wii U version, is coming out this Friday. So, I mean, it was kind of odd that this was coming to Wii U anyway. Like, it seemed really unnecessary, or it seemed weird that they jumped on board with this. Like, the idea of re-releasing games on the Wii U that have already come out. But this one, they haven't really seemed to be doing that much with it,
I mean, they've done it with Batman. They added the whole Armoured Edition thing. Then they didn't really do anything with Mass Effect 3. So,
but
no.
Yeah, it's kind of so... I mean, it's meant to be a decent game, and if I do buy it, it will be on the Wii U, but probably not going to buy it, really.
Is that the game with, like, the really elaborate cutscenes whenever you fire a gunshot or something?
Yeah, where it shows the bullet go into the guy, and then the guy explode or whatever.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, though. Well, that's it for games coming out. Like always, I probably missed one, but...
What about Pokemon Mystery Dungeon?
It came out last week!
Whoops.
Animal Crossing comes out on the 14th of June. So
Oh,
you
well,
don't...
yeah.
You've got to get up pretty early to catch me up. So, yeah, that's it for games. So, definitely, 4 killer games right there. So, it's a crazy week.
When's the Lego City game coming out?
It's already out.
Oh. Wow.
Just don't... I mentioned it on the podcast, so somebody doesn't listen.
I did. I was playing games while I was listening to it. So.
Well, anyway, so let's get into the topic of the week. I won't lie. I like to be honest here, but I've been struggling trying to come up with stuff. So, you out there, if you have any ideas for topics that we can talk about, feel free to leave a comment below, and your very suggestion could come up as a topic on this very podcast.
So lazy, Tom.
Shut up. It's episode 11. What am I made of ideas? I'm busy. So, I did come up with something, though. It's not just going to be silence for the next 10 to 20 minutes. I thought we would discuss handheld gaming, if that's quite alright. We've already discussed it quite a lot, but pretty much the big question that I want to ask to everyone is, will dedicated handheld gaming consoles go away at some point, or how will they survive, or will they survive? Because, of course, the background to this is something's been people have been saying for a while, starting with the 3DS, because of course you could pick up 3DS, play a game, but then you could play a game pretty much technically the same on your iPad, and everyone has an iPad or an iPhone or Android phone, HTC. So really, I mean, it's quite interesting that obviously I want to say no, because, we're just we're just a few 3DS users here, just hanging out, having a chat. So, maybe we're a bit biased here, but I mean, do you actually know anyone or heard of anyone not buying a handheld console because of their phone?
No.
That's what I thought. Yeah, pretty much.
Discussion over.
Yeah, done. Sorry. But I mean, that's kind of my major point here that I want to make, is that people who use their iPhones and iPads as their main gaming device are someone who's probably not going to go out and buy a console anyway.
Like Angry Birds, yeah.
Yeah, like it's not like they were playing, whatever New Super Mario Bros. On their DS, and they're like, is that Plants vs. Zombie on the iPad? And they just bin their DS and just started playing that. They weren't playing games at all, and now they're playing some games like Bejeweled. So, I think really they don't have anything to worry about.
I don't think that iPads and that are going to overtake gaming consoles or handheld ones anyway, because they're a lot cheaper. Like, iPads are expensive, like new, compared to like a 3DS or a DS new, and it's made for games, so obviously it's a lot better for games, so it's generally just a lot better to play a game on a handheld console than it is to play on an iPad, and a lot cheaper. So,
well, I would argue that money's not a factor, because you have an iPad and use it for so many other stuff that why have the argument would be, why would you go out and buy a separate device for gaming when you've already gone out and brought a device that can play games?
Pretty awful games, though. Really.
Yeah, most of them, for the most part. But there is a lot of good ones, though. That's
that
the
one
thing.
Rayman game, wasn't it? Something like Jump or something like that?
Jungle Run.
Rayman Run or something like that, I don't know.
Jungle Run. But the thing is that, well, I guess that's it. I guess that's the main thing that dedicated consoles have to worry about, that there is a lot of quality games on the iPad and iPhone that you can play, but if that quality keeps rising, then, will there be a point where they overtake if the quality of games keeps rising?
But the thing is, with iPads, you can only have certain types of games because it's like all touchscreen. And I don't know whether you've tried playing like a sort of a 3D style game where you have like arrow keys on the touchpad. It's not very comfortable and it's not very fun to play. So I think if that did happen, they would have to either get like extensions for iPads, or at least new iPads that have like buttons and joysticks and stuff on them. But I'm not sure.
Well, it's kind of interesting. The whole thing that stops iPads, the whole thing is that convenience stops the iPad overtaking it, but then not convenience keeps the 3DS kind of going. Because of course you have to go out and buy a separate console now if you want to do your gaming alongside the iPad and iPhone. But then to make the iPad or iPhone an actual decent console, you have to go out and buy a separate thing to attach to it. So it seems like people are willing to go out and buy 3DSs and PS Vitas, but they're not willing. That same crowd is not willing to buy like a joystick attachment for their iPhone, so they can actually play 3D games properly.
I mean, have you ever tried to carry an iPad around in your pocket? It doesn't work. So I think convenience-wise, they are, like you said, they're a lot more convenient. Like you can just have them in your pocket, and even if you don't think you're going to play it, you can still have it there. And then with the iPad, I don't know, it's something you can keep in the car, keep in a bag maybe. I don't know, I just think 3DS or handheld consoles in general are just a lot more convenient than iPads and iPhones, because iPhones just have a really small screen. So.
Yeah, but the convenient thing about an iPad and an iPhone is that you already have it. That's what makes it convenient, and people already do carry them around in their bags and things like that. That kind of used to be an issue, but I think nowadays it's an issue that's gone away about carrying the console. And I think even carrying both an iPhone and a 3DS isn't a problem for people. Not really. I mean, I don't know why it's not a problem anymore, but it used to be. But I think that's a factor that's kind of gone away and has definitely, helped the dedicated consoles, still thrive. Well, I mean, I think what makes this interesting, though, is when the 3DS is doing fine. It's selling well, it's got the games, people are buying it, it's great. But the PS Vita isn't. And I think the question isn't, will iPhones beat the 3DS, but are they popular enough where they could kill the PS Vita, because it certainly seems that way at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, because I think what's wrong with the PS Vita, from what I've seen and heard, is that it's a lot more like a console with a TV built in. Kind of like they're like all full 3D games, like good graphics, stuff like that. But then people won't buy it because they can just have their PS3 or their Xbox. Whereas with like the 3DS and other consoles in like the past, they're like unique games that are only on that, and they're good. The games are designed to be sort of, I don't know, the games that you can just play for a while, like in a long car journey or on a train or something. So I think that's where like the PS Vita has gone wrong.
A lot of the time, people use PS Vitas for emulators of like old like Super Nintendos and things like that. So yeah, it's like they don't want to use it for all these big 3D games. They want something they can just take on the go.
Well, that's where Sony's always gone wrong. Like, the PSP did well. I mean, the DS kicked its ass because the DS did amazingly well. But the PSP went wrong because people, there's not that large of a market of people who want the most expensive product they could buy as a handheld console. You know, there's that crowd who definitely exists where it's like, I want the best and the most expensive version of what I can get, with TVs or Blu-rays, things like that. So with the PS3, they had a market there, and they have a market in the console race. But when it comes to the handheld race, if you want the best thing, then you buy the best iPad and things like that. So, I mean, even with the PSP, it kind of worked, because there was people, you had to make the decision. If you wanted a handheld console, you had to make the decision between a DS and a PSP. So a lot of people did go PSP because they wanted the superior one, technically. Or, but graphically. But with the PS Vita, it's now, you have to choose between a 3DS, a PS Vita, or so many other devices that are a lot more powerful and can do so much more than the PS Vita. So, I mean, I think in that regard, iPhones and iPads can kill out that section of the market and have, considerably killed out a lot of that market.
Is it the Vita, the one that got rid of the discs? So all of your old games you couldn't play?
That was the PSP Go, and that was a massive flop. Like, a massive flop. They just, after like a year, not even that, I want to say, they just abandoned the idea.
They should have just named it PSP Just Go. It would be more fitting. Yeah.
PSP New Low. That's what I would name it. Because, in case anyone out there doesn't know, the PSP Go was it was a PSP without the UMD drive, or whatever you would call it. Because, Sony were like, hey, the kids like to download their games nowadays. Let's make it so they have to download their games.
That'll work.
And it was just a PSP without the drive, so it was cheaper. But what it meant was that the shops didn't stock it because they don't make any money on hardware. They only make money off the software because of a large part of it is used games. So the shops didn't stock it. Nobody knew about it or cared. Nobody brought it, and that was the end of that. But, I mean, with the PSP Vita, I guess we'll have to see, because it's not selling terribly, and especially in Japan, and because there was a price cut, it's doing better, and it's not doing awfully, but I don't know how long Sony can, because the handheld market is a lot more casual than the console one, so I think in a lot of ways the iPhones have taken over that.
Yeah, I think they definitely will take over, like, other people's attempts at handheld consoles, but I don't think they're going to overtake Nintendo, because Nintendo always seems to come up with something new that makes it different. Like, there's not a huge amount different between the DS and an iPad, but apart from like the buttons and the controls, which are a lot better. But like with the 3DS, there's 3D that's going to veer you towards wanting to, for some people, it's going to veer you towards wanting to play a game on the 3DS instead of playing it on your iPhone. So, I don't know.
But, that's the thing with Nintendo. That's a whole other thing where Nintendo makes Nintendo games, so they're always going to be alright in the end.
That seal of, that kind of branding, that's going to be good. But when you're on the iPad, you just get all this kind of, or Android, whatever, doesn't matter. You just get really random stuff a lot of the time. And a lot of the time it is all these casual games. I'm not sure if this is true, but it seems like it, that the biggest thing that iPads give and the App Store is all these casual games, which I'm not a big fan of, but it seems like middle-aged women are. Definitely.
They love it.
They love their bejazzled or whatever it is.
They threw away Nintendogs and brain training, and now they're playing bloody...
Words with Friends.
Words with Friends. Can't get enough. Well,
Zuma.
Oh.
Actually, I quite like Zuma, so, yeah.
Yeah, don't like Sonic, but you love Zuma. What's going on here? Jesus.
Leave me alone.
I don't know this guy I invited to the podcast. Jesus.
You just turned up.
But well, I think that's the ultimate. That's like the bottom line here is that the casual market is so finicky that that they just move around so much that it's like, sure, you can get big success with them, but you're never going to get anything substantial. So really, this market can't kill off the Nintendo market because they are substantial and they've been going for like a stupid amount of times, and they've been successful with the handheld since the Game Boy, so you're not going to beat them out. And I mean, this only really became an issue because the 3DS bombed at first. People don't really say this as much anymore, but I think the only reason I brought it up as a topic is because, I couldn't think of anything. But also because it's interesting because I think this market has affected the PS Vita so much. But yeah, this question only came up and people started talking about it because the 3DS did so terrible in the first year. But then, of course, Nintendo released the big killer games like Mario Kart, Super Mario 3D Land, and Zelda, and then people did buy it, so, Nintendo games sell, I guess.
I mean, I think the reason that Nintendo handheld consoles are always going to be better to play for games than the iPads and stuff is because if you look at the games on the iPad, they're all really small games you pay like 60p or a couple of quid for that don't have much to them. Like you said, they're very casual, they're not very long, and you can get bored of them quite easily. Whereas Nintendo have something new with their console, they have some good games, and they're all backed up by the brand that's been going on for so long that most people love.
Well, I think it's funny that this happened by accident, that this market showed up. Because, imagine if we asked this question or we're talking about this seriously like 5 to 10 years ago. It would be, yeah, I love playing Pokemon and Mario on my Game Boy Advance, but nobody's buying an N-Gage. Nobody's playing them. Because every time they try to do a gaming phone, they always flop. Always flop. So I think, that's terrible. Obviously, that a gaming phone is never going to work, but which is kind of the reason why the hand-dedicated consoles are fine, because if a gaming phone doesn't do it for people or for that crowd, then that crowd is they're just playing.
They didn't learn. They didn't learn it with that. What was it called again? I forgot it already.
The N-Gage.
N-Gage, yeah, right. Because wasn't there? I'm sure there's a phone that came out last year or a couple of years ago by LG. It was it had 2 analog sticks.
Oh yeah, they
LG.
still keep making them.
They still make them. Why?
Well, I don't know. It's like, I guess as a larger company, the logic is sound. It's like, well, what if we take the game, the playability of, normal gaming or handhelds, and then also have it so it's a phone, so it's a social cool device, put them together and everyone's buying it, and then no one buys it, and they have to kind of start scratching their heads again. And
I mean, I think gaming phones could work, but I just googled N-Gage and this thing looks bad.
How dare you? I won't even hear that.
It doesn't. It looks really bad. I think instead of having a gaming phone, it'd have to be a handheld console plus phone, like where the handheld thing is the main thing. But then, hey, you can call your friends or Skype your friends with. I think that would be a good thing.
Well, the gaming phone is the same mistake that Nintendo did with the Wii that we talked about earlier, or the Wii U. It's giving the casual market too much credit. They just buy the latest thing and that's it, and whatever is in their hand, they'll be like, wait, whatever they see on an advert. But with the Wii U, the casual market didn't cross over because they don't care. And then with the gaming phone, the casual market isn't going to cross over because they don't care. It's not, unless it becomes their device, it's not going to be a device they care about. And that's why the PS Vita is doing that well, But, I guess they'll keep slashing the price and people will buy it, but it just depends on how long Sony wants to use that angle when it comes to their handhelds.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need to start making more unique games. So I looked into getting like a cheap PSP the other day, and I looked at the games and I thought, what's the point? I could just get a PS2 or use my GameCube, because most of the games that are on there are on the consoles, so I know it's going to be better on the console, so there's not really much point. The only reason I'd get a PSP is for games like that Star Wars Battlefront game you reviewed the other day. Like, the PSP version looks a lot better than the DS version, so that's like the only thing that makes PSP worth buying, really.
Well, I think that's what's interesting though, is that the PS Vita does have a lot of unique games, a lot of games that are getting good reviews, a lot of kind of quirky, odd games. Some of them in the same vein as the iPhone games in terms of style and weirdness, but people don't care. It doesn't matter. There's no killer game, and it's so hard to make a killer franchise anymore that I don't think, the PSP or the PS Vita desperately needs that killer game, but you can't make it because all their attempts to just make handheld versions of their actual killer apps like Uncharted, Killzone, God of War, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Ratchet and Clank, yeah, just nobody wants it.
Yeah, I mean, I think no, what was I going to say? Oh, it's gone.
Well,
Sorry.
It's a podcast, so don't worry about it. It's not like it's important to know what you're saying, but well, anyway,
leave a blank and we can put it in later.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have the power to edit this, so that could mean anything.
Something really good as well. It's just gone.
I'm sure it was. But anyway, so any final thoughts on the general issue?
3DS, woo! Screw PS Vita.
Oh man,
Just
That's
like
what it
Jerry
was.
Springer. Go ahead.
That's what it was. Oh no, it's gone again.
Oh.
God damn
I'm
it.
sorry.
That's it, Joe. Any final thoughts? Got to end this.
Yeah, go 3DS because I've just got one. So
Sure. So we just got to. I said at the beginning this was just going to be biased, and our final thoughts are woo 3DS because we forked out the money from.
Oh wait, it's back again. The people that have PS Vita actually say it's a really good console with really good games. It's just that not many people actually have them. So that's the problem.
Good point.
Yeah, that was it. That was what all the fuss was about.
Well, yeah, I think that's it. I think we covered it, I suppose. I mean, I don't know. I think the big, the interesting question is about the PS Vita. But then again, I guess we just have to see, because the 3DS came back, but I mean, I don't know what it's going to take for the PS Vita to really get going in a very big way. But either way, handheld or the iPads and iPhones didn't help. So whether they're directly responsible, who can say? But they definitely had their part to play. I would say in the PS Vita's kind of failure.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so anyway, so that's it for another awesome podcast.
Totally awesome.
Damn straight. That's right.
Totally awesome.
Pucker.
Oh, pucker. I have not heard that word in years. I guess I don't watch enough Only Fools and Horses to know words like that.
Or Jamie Oliver.
Oh yeah. He's still going, isn't he? Bless him.
Sainsbury's.
I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, yes, look out for the podcast on Thursday, which will be covering the Xbox, Batman, and Call of Duty. And that's about it. There won't be any topic or anything like that. We'll just be covering the big issues. So I have to say once again, Mr. McLuckable, thanks for being here.
No problem.
So I don't know. Do you want to announce that you're kind of becoming a regular on the podcast, or maybe?
You just have, really, haven't
I
you?
have. But yeah, so pretty much. Yeah. Well, you go ahead.
No, you're the guy in charge.
I am. That is right. Don't you forget.
I don't want to be fired already.
Oh, that's all right. You better tweet some nice stuff about the Wii U, or it's over, son. That's what I'm saying.
No.
But so Mr. McLuckable is going to try to be on every episode, but of course, if we can't work out, then it's not going to work out. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah. Should be fun. See how it goes.
Sure, I guess.
Oh, why are you making me do this?
Yeah, this isn't something he agreed to. It's just Some threats
read-
were made.
Didn't read the fine print.
Yeah, I just signed far too quickly.
Yeah, well, sucks to be you, but good to be me. So, well, anyway, of course, go over to Mr. McLuckable's channel for a Let's Play of Destroy All Humans and his continued Let's Play of Minecraft's Feed the Beast. So thanks for being here, and also thank you to my second guest, EdwardDaGuy. Yeah, you know, just woo everything with this guy. It's just 3DS himself loves it.
Woo is now trademark. If I hear you saying woo, it's mine.
I don't think you can trademark my woo, I'm afraid.
Right. Well, I just have.
Well,
so
shoot. Well, anyway, so go over to his channel because at the moment me and him are co-oping the Simpsons game on the Wii. So if you want to check that out, that is there. Link in the description below. So any final thoughts on anything really?
Definitely listen to the one on Thursday, because that's going to be the interesting one. Not to say this one isn't, but I mean, that's going to have the new console.
Well, it's the biggest news of the year right there.
Exactly. Don't miss it.
And it's got Batman in it, so it's awesome.
He's a pretty cool guy. It's going to be fireworks, which I don't think can translate on a podcast too well. It's just a... and then me like, yeah.
Ooh.
And me just burning my hand on a sparkler. That'll be about it. So I don't think it'll do that
Should have
well.
worn gloves.
Well, anyway, so that's the end of the podcast. So thank you guys out there for listening, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.